and welcome to WGF iTalks. Today we have Kushil Gunasekera with us. He is from Sri Lanka. He is the founder of one of the noblest organizations in Sri Lanka, committed to humanitarian efforts, Foundation of Goodness. Kushil is a philanthropist and has changed the face of rural Sri Lanka by spreading hope and smiles to millions of needy and poor people. We will explore Kushil's personal and professional passions, his deeply moving and highly impactful and rewarding thoughts and philosophies, and the promises he holds in his heart for himself and countless others out there in the world, all through a session of questions and answers. Hello, Kushil. How are you?
Hi, pleased to meet you indeed.
Yes, same here.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's start with the questions straight.
Yeah.
I would try to paint a canvas for our viewers with several bright and inspiring colors of your highly impactful and highly inspirational life. You never know, someone in some corner of the world may be waiting for a single ray of hope and inspiration to turn around or transform his or her life. And this interview may serve its purpose.
Yeah.
We believe that if we are able to improve even one human being's life, our purpose is served. If we are able to improve more lives, then God has chosen us for a greater purpose. Our viewers seek inspiration from personal challenges and triumphs too. So I would also, slightly touch upon your personal life and future aspirations.
Okay.
Yeah, let's start with the questions. In our highly materialistic world, ruled by cutthroat competition, where more possessions, expensive possessions, and quickest possessions are the only definitions of success, how do you see and define your life?
Well, Hasina, I think I always wanted to be a good human being. And I'm always trying to bridge this gap, being born human and ending up being humane. So that's the way I would define my, aspiration. I also wanted to be a nice human being. And as I went along, I thought I'll make it one of the nicest human beings that this world has ever seen. So I'm working towards that goal. So yeah, I'm always caring and sharing. I have, turned from competition to contribution. So that's because I, like you, touched on, corporate life and about competition and, where people are, very greedy about positions. So, and I've always thought this greed begets greed. It's like success breeds success. And I think, it's like a mirage, you follow greed and then never is enough. And when you get to the point, the mirage shifts the goalpost. So you have to actually work on your, I think mainly the values, so that's how I see myself being a very joyful, blissful person. I'm never unhappy, undisturbed. So, I know the true nature of things as they really are in life. So I'm really happy to do what I'm doing, uplifting the spirits of other people. So, and I'm thinking of equality. What I have, they must have too. So that's my desire. So I don't know how much I can achieve or bridge that gap, but our aim has always been to bridge this urban-rural divide as much as I can. So the journey has started, like 25 years ago, but now it's officially about 24. Next year, it will be the 25th year of the Foundation of Goodness. Yeah, so I think caring and sharing and, being good, doing good, becoming a very kind, nice, good person is all what I wanted to achieve.
Wow, really great. I wish everyone thought like you. No one needs to be a hardcore ascetic in order to lead a good life for
Yeah.
themselves or, to set examples for others. A simple, disciplined life in order to create a balance between any kind of excess and any kind of deficiency would make all of us great human beings. However, maybe that's the way of life it meant to be. Human beings don't understand happiness without misery. They
Yeah.
wouldn't understand high consciousness without experiencing lowest form of consciousness. Maybe that's how the world is supposed to be and run.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is this, I think a lot of us are expecting people to change and we remain unchanged. That's the issue here. We don't look at ourselves, how to improve and strive for excellence, and how to take this journey for the good of ourselves and for the good of others. So unless we self assess ourselves on a daily basis, like how we have a probably clean ourselves externally. We never look into our mind as to how we have this envy, jealousy, hatred, all this greed and everything that goes in. We never try to take them out. So they keep piling inside you and you go from bad to worse. So you need to also look at yourself first, because you have to get this gross individual happiness, by yourself. You can't leave it to others. We criticize others, but we don't criticize ourselves to do a self-assessment. So
Right.
if you do this as an exercise every day, then obviously you're going to be better than you used to be. That's the idea. So I think in life, you have to take a call about, good things are hard to do, right?
Right.
So I mean, it's if you say, let's say if you destroy your house, or if you like build a house, you will never have it in the front page. But if you break a house, you will have it in the front page, right?
Right.
So it's also like if you steal, then you'll have it in the front page of the print media. But
Right.
if you're generous, if you're kind, if you have done a great deed, it's hard to get in there. So so I think there's less competition in that area, but people don't know. uh, so they go with the flow. Many follow the flow. You have to be able to swim upstream. That is what matters the most. You have to do things differently. That's what it is. And I think for me, there has been no trigger to do good. There are a lot of people I have seen, which is great. I mean, if there is a cancer in the family, then they commit themselves for cancer. If there are kidney issues, they'll go there and do something for kidney patients.
Okay.
You don't really need a trigger.
Right. Right.
So I think in all of us there are inherent good qualities in us. Let's say
Absolutely.
kindness, forgiveness, patience. So many things are there. So we can work on those. Hasina, you'll be surprised. I never studied. I failed. I failed to pass my high school. So,
Oh.
but I only played a lot of sports because I was mad about cricket,
Oh. All
basketball.
right.
So I played a lot of cricket, even first class. So
Oh. Wow.
but I just did sports, and my
Mm-hmm.
mother was really angry with me for not studying. But but I think it's just not studies alone. I started to evaluate what good qualities I have, so I put them together,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
I followed them to the letter because I had to excel in something. So I thought I'll excel what qualities I have and how I can actually take it to another level.
That's
That,
great. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what I worked on.
Yes.
Be-
Yes.
because I feel that education is mandatory.
Right.
It can make you rich. It can make you resourceful.
Yes.
It can make you have great knowledge, but it cannot necessarily make you a happier person. To
Right.
become happy, you have to have values. If you don't have those values, you can't be a happy person. Have you
Right.
have you seen so many qualified, people, when they are aging, they are unhappy, they are dissatisfied, they are
Yeah.
discontent. So these are the issues they have to battle with. So if you know life ahead, and if you know what it actually is out there, the true nature as it is, then you will begin to really look at all these areas and try and address them. You have to be a learned person, but at the
Right.
same time, for example, I always say to people, intelligent intelligence is one thing, wisdom is another. you
Right.
know Intelligent people can also resort to unwholesome activities.
Mhm.
But people who are wise have this fear and shame. So they will not resort to anything wrong because they'll fear, they'll have this shame. So there is a vast difference between being intelligent and wise. So if you're not wise and if you don't cultivate wisdom,
Mhm.
then you can stray. So a lot of the people I see, yes, are qualified, to the extent, but if you're unkind, what is that? What is the point of your education if you're an unkind person?
Yes.
If you're selfish, if you're not caring, if you don't want to share,
Right.
if you don't have patience, if you're not humble. So
Mhm.
I think all these characteristics are so important to shape one's life.
Right.
So, yeah, so that's what I always try to follow in
Right.
terms of wanting to be a good person.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Great. Actually, see, ultimately, it's education. It doesn't necessarily need to come with some sort of certificates through some sort of certificates. So education is something like which good values and stuff which you instill in yourself. So what you're just telling me that you failed in means
I
in the
mean,
initial
yeah,
exams and all
yeah.
in the
I
initial
mean,
part of your life. But obviously, I mean, that's totally okay. At the
yeah.
end of the day, what kind of person you are, that's what makes
I,
you good or
I'm
bad.
not saying this because I didn't really study, but
Mhm.
Hasina, I've seen a lot of people pass exams
Mhm.
but fail their life.
Right.
So
No point then.
I mean, you have to have a balance, right? You
Right.
have to pass exams as well, and then you have to also be a happier person. If
Right.
you, if you're not happy, people around you are not going to be happy.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
you have to love yourself first before you love others.
Right.
So because if you love yourself, then you will have pleasant speech. You will be not harming anybody.
Right.
You what does not please me, you won't inflict upon another. So you'll if you love yourself. So you have to first
Yes.
love yourself.
Right.
Uh, then you treat other people as also with same respect.
Yes.
That's that's the key.
Yes. So if I start speaking on goodness in life, in the real sense of being humans and in philosophical connotations, I'm sure I would be speaking for hours explaining, invoking, justifying, and calling for the extreme need of goodness in communities, societies, nations, and the entire world.
Yeah.
It's that important. At the same time, I'm also absolutely sure that inherently good human beings need not be even asked to do good in their lives.
Yeah.
They would do it naturally, just like you.
Yeah.
Everyone in this world must understand that it's not easy what you are doing. Probably you had other choices, and if you are doing it, you are one of the noblest men on earth. You are the man who has been living goodness, spreading goodness, and infecting all with the noble notion of goodness in their and others' lives. You founded Foundation of Goodness in 1999. It couldn't have been possible without an inherent foundation of goodness within you. What prompted you to turn towards goodness? What all goodness have you been able to spread through your foundation since its inception in Sri Lanka and beyond?
So I'm really humbled by your very kind sentiments. I'm actually I'm a bit speechless because I don't want to speak about myself too much. So, but all I can tell you from my younger days, I saw this inequality, and I came into the city from a village. But when I went back from the city to the village, I realized that, unfortunately, there's this big gap, the disparity. So it was huge. And that intrigued me a lot as to why, some are really, prospering and the others are not. But they had equal mindsets, they were clever people, very talented. They had, the skill set. Um, they had the talent, but they just didn't have the opportunity. They didn't have the facilities, the training, or the exposure. So when I started to realize that, I felt I'm going to actually come back to my village, and then also try and do something to impact the lives of others who are having this innate talent but not having the opportunity. So and that's what inspired me, because I think I think I had a lot of compassion and kindness, that when I saw somebody struggling, I wanted to reach out, because I think seeing the plight of others defines compassion. And it's easy for someone to be able to, help if you're asked, but helping others unasked, is actually the kind of compassion that you want to basically get into. So, I started the Foundation Goodness in 1999 because I wanted to make that, you know, I want to make something happen for the good of other people who are, downtrodden or underserved or marginalized communities. So I decided in 1999 that I'm going to go back to my village. I had a successful business at the time, trading sugar. So I could easily set aside my resources and, everything begins small. Nothing ever great is achieved without taking that one step at a time. And then, you keep going, and kindness kind of multiplies in abundance. So and kindness is something that is never out of fashion. So, if you have kindness, then there's a lot of kindness that is attracting you as well. So I think, I wanted to make a difference in my village. I wanted my village and the two adjoining villages to succeed. So I promised myself I'm going to commit to uplift these three villages. That's how I started. But never did I comprehend ever that, today we are in 975 villages. Last year we served 307,000 plus people as beneficiaries. So the key here is doing something with purity of intentions. That's the most important thing. Nothing expected in return. The purity of intentions. You actually go without any agendas. You do it unconditionally, without conditions. And then peace also begins to flourish because you don't expect anything in return. So, I mean, yeah, these are some of the things that, and as I said, people don't really understand that there are lots of blessings in abundance that accrue to you. When you put something into the universe, it parks itself and gives it back to you at the time you need it. Just imagine my plight. I'm like, for the last 15 years, I have to raise $1 million every year. And I'm still smiling and, not being bothered. People are asking me, aren't you stressed out? You have to. I said, no, I'm doing something divine and I'm doing it correctly. My conscience is clear. So I think the universe has seen it and it keeps connecting me from all over the world, various people, including yourself. I wouldn't have been able to connect with you and your, prestigious World Growth Forum if I probably didn't do what I'm doing today. So I'm grateful, and that's what keeps me going. That's the fuel that's poured into my passion, and that keeps making me go, one step further.
Oh, awesome. Good man or humble. Even after doing magnificent, noble things on such a great skill and such high levels and on such high level, your humility makes you even nobler than what people generally see. Yeah, it's good to see and spread the word around the world. All that the Foundation of Goodness is doing under your insightful guidance. I'm
You,
young and I'm sure a lot is waiting to come my way that would enhance my learning and understanding more, driving me towards more goodness and more positivity. I'm sure the world deserves better. And people, if people like you have dedicated their lives to spread goodness more, and more people would try to be good and, do better. Thank you for that wonderful answer.
No, and I also think that you mentioned about humility. I think that's a very, very important quality in one's life. I think it reminded me of a doormat. However much people, you know, um, rub their feet on that doormat, it stays firm, doesn't get disturbed. So it's like that. You have to be like the doormat. No matter no matter who tramples you, you remain the way you are. So that's what matters the most. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for that very nice answer. Yeah. In the increasingly intense and unending stresses of today's modern life,
Yeah.
which is forcing all of us to be highly selfish and mean, being human is one of the biggest needs of every human being to transform our world into a world of goodness. Forget serving others. We are not even serving ourselves in the right sense. We are cursing, torturing, and killing ourselves on a daily basis. And then, of course, the worst we feel in our body and mind. We make our others feel even worse by our words and deeds. We are simply a sorry lot of human beings, a sorry world. We
Yeah.
are, entangled in complex circles and spheres of I would make you feel bad, you make someone else feel bad, someone else, will make someone else feel bad, and on and on. If every human being decides to serve others, wouldn't we be all serving each other? Isn't that the world we all want, consciously or subconsciously? Isn't that the world we all want, consciously or subconsciously? Isn't my happiness related to yours? Isn't everyone else's happiness related to everyone else's? Wouldn't all of us be happy together if all of us start serving others? Aren't we all here for the same purpose? Have you found the real meaning of life? Have you found the real meaning of being human? How can you dedicate your life to serving humanity?
I think, whilst you were saying a lot about these areas, which has a lot of negativity and toxic kind of background, what I really feel is that each one has to cultivate peace. That is the key. And today, I think inner peace is the new wealth. So in a chaotic world, if you can't work out your peaceable, I think inheritance, that's a lost cause, because at the end of your life, you want to live a very peaceful life, right? So you want to negotiate to live a life of clarity, peace, serenity, tranquility, and be calm. That's what matters the most. So I don't know. I felt that ego here is one of the most destructive nuclear weapons that we can ever see. It's one's ego. It's not the nuclear bombs or nuclear power that one country has over the other. It's one's ego that triggers the nuclear bomb. So ego is a very destructive trait that we have. So the opposite of ego is what we talked about, is humility. So we have to be able to attain that peace into our lives. That is what. So if you have that peace into you, you will be thinking non-harm to oneself and non-harm to the other. What does not please me, how can I inflict upon another, which I spoke earlier as well. So those are the things that the more I gave, trust me, the more was mine to give. So the more I started to share, the more I had on my own to share. The more I cared for others, the more I could care for others. So that's the story. So if you are also, like I said before, if you look at your own self, and if you put this jigsaw puzzle together, fix the pieces, then you can lead by example. People around you are amenable, very amicable. you're a peace-loving citizen. So things come following you. So that's what I think we need to do in this world. We can't probably change the world, but we can be changing agents. So we can show the world this is the way to go. There's a saying, greatness is not found in possessions, power, prestige, or wealth, rather in service, humility, character, and goodness. So yeah, so these are the things that one needs to cultivate in ourselves, but without blaming others. Our job whole life, as I said, is blaming others. But you have to first blame yourself for what you have done and what you have not done well, and what you have done well, you have to make it happen more. What you have not done well, then you can eliminate time and again by self reflection. So I think if you can get this ego part, why do people go to war? Because of an ego.
Right.
So I want to be the best. I want to be, when you can't even control yourself, how can you control another? For example, when you get a headache or when you get a stomach ache, I can't control myself, right? So I have to go to the doctor or I have to take medicine. But I can't just say, okay, headache go away, or the stomach ache, please go away, my back ache, go away. I can't. So when you can't control yourself, how on earth would you control someone else? You just can't. So you have to realize, look, if you think with reality, then I think you can make much better progress.
That's right. That's beautiful. You're absolutely right. There was a time when I was exploring how to make a difference in the world, and through my efforts, to create a better world in whatever small or big way I could, I was lost.
Right.
It was difficult to find the right direction and the right path. Finally, I just started in a small way what I knew and what I felt I could do in the best way. And here we are. I'm sure I'm on earth for a purpose, and I'm contributing to my purpose by doing what I'm doing. Um, yeah. Thanks for clarifying so many aspects. I pray all human beings start being human, and together let's all enhance as much positivity in the world as possible, while eliminating as much negativity as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's us who can change ourselves. It's not about trying to change other people. First, the effort is to change us,
Right.
and when we change ourselves, people around us also will try to do the same. So that's, as I said before, we try to remain unchanged, and we want to change someone else.
Right.
So that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Before I move further, pardon me for my style of asking questions. I just include all aspects of a question into one.
Yeah.
So you may be able to answer in entirety,
Yeah.
missing minimum of facts and aspects. You don't have to answer the way I am asking, but please try to answer as comprehensively and as deeply as possible.
Right.
Your passion to serve others makes you different. Your own foundation of goodness makes you different. Your renunciation of materialism makes you different. Every act of your kindness and every thought of your goodness makes you different. How did you evolve into the Kushil Gunasekera we see today? What transformed you? What are your thoughts and philosophies? What were your thoughts and philosophies when you were growing up? What do you generally do in a day? What keeps you busy? What makes you get up and spread goodness in life?
Yeah, there's a whole lot of questions to answer. Uh, I even forgot from what you said at the beginning to the end, but some of the gist that I picked up is, I think, a good human being necessarily must have kindness and compassion. That is very important.
Mhm.
And a very peaceable person, easy to talk to, does not get angry, asserting the truth, giving even if you have little to give. These are the things that inspires me. As I said, giving unasked. It's easy to give when somebody asks you, but giving unasked. Seeing somebody in trouble on the road, stopping and saying, I wish, you a blessed life, and, here's loving kindness, and what can I do for you, and do it the way I can. It's not to wait for the right time and say, I am poor, so therefore I can't help another person. You can go and talk, you can smile, you can, have a comforting word or two. So these are the things that, so my life has evolved, Hasina, because I took little steps towards this aspiration. And you have no idea how unexpectedly and mysteriously things started to gather around me. You know, my mother told me that at the age of 10, that when I was eating, when somebody knocked at our, gate and wanted a plate of rice, I wanted to actually go and give it to that person. So my mother was pretty worried that, I wouldn't eat, and she went and gave him a plate of rice. But, so seeing others' misery, struggles and hardships, I am broken up. I am awake then, I'm aware. So that has helped me evolve to who I am today. Because as I keep going, I never thought, people will rally around me, come together, work hard. And, serving humanity is also a particular art. It's a way of life. It's like being an engineer or a accountant or a doctor or scientist, whatever. You have to have a passion, and your passion cannot be copied. You can copy the work, you can copy one style, but you cannot copy your passion. So if you have that passion, every day I wake up, I'm waking up to help somebody. So, my I think Swan is on this Zoom call as well. And she's our head of communications, and she knows how many calls I get for a day. I have about 200 WhatsApp messages every day, so I have to juggle around my life somehow. But, the key is both sides, the donors from one side, the beneficiaries from another side. So, and matching them and facilitating to make both parties happy is really blissful and hard to describe the feeling that you have, the feel good factor. So every day when I have open my mail, there is someone saying, Kushil, can we do this? I have this resources that I can help you with, not necessarily monetarily, but even somebody will say, I'm very good at coding. And someone will say, I'm very good at planetary health. Someone will say agri-entrepreneurship. Someone says STEM education. So I say, come, let's go. Let's do it. So it's a positive, vibes and the energy that you bring. And I've always thought that, this 10 most powerful two-letter words, and that is, if it is to be, it is up to me. The 10 most powerful two-letter words that I ever learned. If it is to be, it is up to me. So, it's me, when I get these chances, one thing, Hasina, I've never say no and can't. My staff and my colleagues and my associates are always, very worried, thinking where we are going, what will be the end goal, because whatever that comes my way, I say, let's do it. I'm sure we can find a way. So that has also attracted, us to be who we are today. So it's not a journey that, came to me. I remember when I was like 24, 25 years ago, I used to dream of Oprah. I used to see her, all the TV shows, her talk shows, and get mesmerized by her generosity and her spirit of, wanting to care and share. But suddenly, the rise and the fall both came from a very unprecedented tragic tsunami. It hit us badly to put all that we had done right to the ground, and and then said, build back better. And that journey is far superior because step by step, it's not getting whole lot of things at once and saying, now you do it. Is then you can be complacent. But here, you go from grassroots level, step by step, understanding everyone's difficulty along the way. So I think that has given me a sense of purpose and a meaningful life, to be content with what I have. People are always, the brightest of people have always been content, with what they had, so they didn't say, okay, I need more and I want more. And there are people, but there is a limit because people don't understand that, everyone, there are a lot of poor people I've seen so content, so fulfilled, so peaceful. Whereas I've seen lots of wealthy friends of mine who are not happy, dissatisfied, discontent, and not, sometimes oriented in the right direction. They have too much headache. So you're talking about renunciation. That's one of the most important things, to let go. Letting go is getting more, not, grabbing everything and holding on. The less you have, the simpler life is. So that's what I think I can tell you with this question you asked so long.
Yeah, thank you so much. And you are doing a tremendous work. However, you make it sound so easy. Or, of course, at your level of consciousness and inherent goodness, it becomes easy. Your story and your life are highly inspiring. The youth must listen to you, and especially those who are seeking directions to a fulfilling and meaningful life. I remember I had visited Jamia Hamdard University in New Delhi, India, and in the huge foyer, they have a huge board where the following are written, like, choose your direction carefully. If you are running, and if you are running in the wrong direction, you would go wrong faster.
Yeah.
So, and you speak so softly, yet every word makes a hard impact. You also speak so convincingly. Your goodness is infectious too. I wish more and more people try and become good human beings by imbibing your style and philosophy of life.
Yeah, I think goodness is the one investment that never fails, and I realized that long time ago. So that's why I keep doing more and more good. I've sacrificed a lot of things. I mean, I sacrificed, gave up my job, which was very, very lucrative. I wanted to, do good for people because we live in a third world where the disparity is huge.
Right.
So, I had to take this journey on, and I never ever imagined today, where we would be. But yeah, so here we are. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. We all grew listening from our parents and teachers that we must imbibe good values to be good human beings when we grow up. I don't know how many of us grow as good human beings by the time we are adults, or by the time we reach old age, the age of reflections.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of us desire to be good human beings and desire to live a different life when we know that we are left with only a few more years or a few days of our life. But we let our experiences and acts of others define our life in such a powerful way that instead of living our life, we end up forced to think, speak, and act in ways that we may not like or expect or dream when we were kids. Does the problem lie in our parents or teachers or system? Or are the goals of good values we are given not attractive enough or powerful enough to let us stick to them? Or are we making everything more complex and more difficult for nothing? What are good values? And what good values do you suggest we all must aspire and be inspired to pursue?
Yeah, I mean, I think people must understand that the day we are born is the day we get our death sentence. But we don't know how and when. So if you don't know how and when death strikes, you have to be able to live today like your last day, right? So if you are living, if someone tells us that it is your last day, would you do anything bad? I don't think, right? You would want to do something good. So if you are aware that, yeah, because some, if you take 100 years, there's always somebody who has died in the first year, second year, third year, fourth year, up to 100. So you don't know. You can die anytime. So we have to live today like our last day. Then you will be a good person, So, and unfortunately, people leave it till very late. They'll give some excuse or the other. Either, my kids are going to school, so I have to see to their studies. Then comes the grandkids, and then they get involved with that. Then it's too late. So then your faculties are very frail. So then you can't do the goodness that you wanted to do in that kind of background. You need to be doing good every single day. I know people get caught up in their corporate life, and they compete and compete and compete. But they also need to realize we need to contribute as well. Contribution brings a lot of peace, a lot of joy, a lot of happiness, a lot of bliss. So I think it's very important for them to realize that this life of ours is so brittle. The other day I was reading that when Turkey was struck by that very unfortunate earthquake, uh, there is a gentleman who owned 33 buildings, 33 sky-rise buildings, and it took only 17 seconds to make him homeless, crying on the road with 2 loaves of bread. That's all he had. But he had 33 buildings, 17 seconds, So that's how, so brittle, is so fragile this life is. So we need to be reminding these things, tomorrow you can be powerful today, but you can be, not so powerful tomorrow. So you need to do good things with your power. You can't do it for, my own gain, or, for the gain of my family or whatever. But we are a world, where a family is sitting around everywhere, so we need to go and reach out to them and, do the best we can. I mean, coming back to values, I think it's also important parents impart, because parents are the first teachers, right? So the children follow the parents. If children see the parents are getting angry, having a lot of hatred, a lot of jealousy, a lot of envy, then the children also have a way of picking these things up, so they also cultivate these bad traits. Then comes the teachers. The teachers are the role models for the kids. They look at you, so I mean, I remember when I was growing up, I used to look at my own parents and my teachers, so I picked up a lot of good things from them, and started to follow them, so that's the way I think you have to, work out your life. You can't leave it till too late, because, you can die anytime and you haven't done any good, but your intention was there, but you couldn't deliver.
Mm. Absolutely.
And also, I think you asked about good values. What I would suggest, we must all aspire to achieve and inspire. I think in my opinion, there is generosity, there is kindness, there is compassion, there is gratitude, there is humility, there is forgiveness, there is patience, helping others, discipline, so many different aspects. Now, those are the very qualities that I pursue to get that human degree.
Great. Thank you so much for this wonderful answer. And yes, good values do help, all human beings of all ages.
Yeah, and that's the only way you can be happy, Hasina. I mean, you can be grumpy, your moods can change, all that. But when you know the life's reality, then you bring back yourself and say, okay, it does happen. These things also have an expiry date. Good times expire, bad times expire. So you
Right.
hang in there. Nothing is forever. So you have to know that everything is subject to change. When the tsunami struck, I had 30 feet of or 10 meters, waves coming at us. I was there myself.
Oh,
So managed to save us. But probably I had a journey to take. And everything was in ruin, debris, and rubble in just a few minutes. So these are the things that people need to be aware. You can be
mm,
the top level today, you can probably go down 17 seconds, right? 33 buildings.
right.
So that's how we have to assess our life.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Uh, there is something that has intrigued me and which I wanted to include in this interview. Is Muthiah Muralidharan a childhood friend? Is cricket your childhood passion? How did you meet Muthiah Muralidharan? And how did you accept being his manager? How are you associated with cricket and so many national and international cricket celebrities?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good question. He's very much younger to me, so I was not his childhood friend. Uh,
Okay.
but I think we played for the same cricket club.
Oh,
Uh, but more than that, I was secretary of the Sri Lankan cricket
oh,
uh, from the interim committee, not an elected body. I was chosen to um, play a role in shaping administration in cricket. And at that time, I was the secretary of the Under 19 Cricket World Cup. And Murali was also playing, in height of his career. And he is a very generous person. He's very kind-hearted. He is very sensitive to the needs of others. So when he saw me, what I was doing in my village, he came one day and said, I would like to do what you're doing. And can we join hands? And I was inside me waiting for that kind of, pledge from him. So I said, let's do this together. And I'm very happy. And then he also was the first ever sportsman to appoint um, manager in Sri Lanka. And I was blessed to inherit that, probably that award or recognition or whatever. So, and he said, I want you to be my manager. So, and now it's over 20 odd years, and we still have remained, intact. And sometimes, managers part, coaches part, and he was a Tamil and I was a Sinhalese. So this also gave us a lot of reconciliation effort that we both put together. And in the Foundation of Goodness, we worked very hard. And with his standing and worldwide stature and fame, he also attracted a lot of celebrities. And I think because we were doing this very well with one cricketer, and because of my cricket background as well, lots of the others joined. So it's been a wonderful journey. It's been remarkable working with him. He's, as I said, he's really, really helpful when it comes to, helping poor people, rise and become independent. I mean, he's sponsored. We have many village heartbeat empowerment centers around the country. He and his brothers and the company together have sponsored 4 village heartbeat empowerment centers in the tea estate communities. So who are really downtrodden. So I salute him for his charitable work. And we have had a very, very special journey together. And I'm still considered, like his manager time and again. And he's also actually giving back a lot to the Foundation of Goodness through his engagements, whether it's endorsement, whether it's question and answer session, whether it's coaching, various ways in which he's approached for appearances. He gives it back to the Foundation of Goodness. So it's been a terrific journey with him. Yeah. Thank you.
wow. I'm not a passionate follower of cricket, though my mother is. Cricket is religion for her. My cousin is mad after Marwan Atapattu. So
Yes. Okay.
there are several enthusiasts in my family who love and adore Sri Lankan cricketers.
Yeah.
I wanted to get some insights from you on cricket for them more than for my own personal interest.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, cricket is like a religion, in Sri Lanka as well. And I know how much India loves cricket, and
Right.
how much we love the Indian,
Oh,
uh, cricket that they play plus the cricket we play.
yeah.
Uh, it's always aligned. I mean, India is like our big brother. So, uh, we play some very competitive cricket. But, you mentioned about Marwan Atapattu. He and I go to the same school uh,
Oh, wow.
as well. And yeah, I mean,
Okay.
all these cricketers, yeah, I mean, I think it's these guys who have put Sri Lanka
Hmm.
also on the map, world map, because of their sterling, very exquisite performances. So I think you need to give them that credit for taking Sri Lanka and winning a World Cup, which is amazing.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that answer. What's the road ahead? What new initiatives you or Foundation of Goodness are working on?
Well, we have now 14 village heartbeat empowerment centers, in addition to the flagship venue that we have in my village. We have a flagship venue called the Center of Excellence. It's named after the donor who's looking after it, called OIOB from Australia. It was previously the Marylebone Cricket Club. Now it's the OIOB Center of Excellence, and then we have a sports academy as well. We could be one civil society organization that has a lot of sports profile in our activities. And then we have 14 other village heartbeat empowerment centers. And I think my goal by end of this year is to get to 20 village heartbeat empowerment centers, so that 20,000 can study different subjects at any given time free of cost. Uh,
Wonderful.
yeah. So, and then also play sport, and I have also something that I'm working on. Sri Lanka has never won a gold medal at the Olympics. So I think by 2028, I'm trying to find a way how to win this elusive gold medal. So that's one of my aspirations. I don't know whether it will come to pass or this dream realized. But on my own, with the Foundation of Goodness infrastructure, we are working on having a plan towards this goal. And then number three is I want to leave a legacy behind, which we are again working on for children, to inculcate good values by introducing a children's goodness game. So because they are all playing, either shooting or accelerating fast cars or something like that. So I want to create a children's goodness game, so that you remember those days we used to play snakes and ladders. So you can go to 99 and you still come down from that snake. And then so good qualities take you up in life, and the bad qualities bring you down in life. So that's the we are experimenting something, how to teach kids when you do good things, how good comes back to you, and when you do bad things, how the bad things can affect your journey. So those are some of the things that I have in mind. So that's so. Then my last goal I have is I've already started something called the Good Life Institute. So the theme is to be better than I used to be better than I used to be. So it's all about the mind management. The mind is your CEO. So if the CEO doesn't work properly, then the rest of the faculties also don't work in the same direction to become a happier person.
Right.
So it's about mind management. It's about being better than I used to be. It's about also enhancing one's gross individual happiness. We need to enhance our gross individual happiness. So these are the things that I'm working on, and hopefully then my life might come to an end. So then I'm done. But at least I want to leave a legacy, because I think whatever we do for others, you know, dies alone with us. But whatever we do for us dies alone with us, and whatever we do for others remains immortal. Yeah, that's the story. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. All the best. All the best for all the noble goals that you have set. We regularly receive the newsletter of Foundation of
Ah,
Goodness.
Yes.
We know what all the Foundation of Goodness has done in the past, and we all feel good in the heart about all you, your foundation, and everyone associated with the foundation have been doing, dedicating their lives to noble causes.
Yeah.
We also understand that it's not easy, to do such work.
Yeah.
When even thinking about good of others is difficult for most human beings, and doing is absolutely extraordinary, what you guys have been doing. So it's really great.
Yeah, thanks very much. We are inspired day in, day out. I have a very good, I can't do it on my own. I have a very good team of directors, and then it flows down into others. So they also believe in the cause of serving humanity. So it's a great collective team effort. And we are enriching humanity as to the best of our ability. And it's giving us a lot of bliss at night. And, it's very peaceful when we think and rejoice in advancing years that we did these things. It's just not to brag about ourselves, but to feel good when you see somebody on the road who comes and tells you, "Sir, you taught me this trade. Today I'm doing so well."
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, great. And nothing is expected in return. Everything is unconditional. But all they have to do is to do community aid work, pay forward. That's it."
Great. Thank you. Yeah.
No
Youth
worries.
in the world have the power to change evil to good. Old people have the wisdom to direct and drive the power of youth. Please share your message for youth and old people. There are weak and strong people in the world in various senses. Weak know where to make the effort, and strong are capable of making successful efforts. Please share your message for weak and strong people.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't think that, I know there are, we can classify them as weak and strong, but I mean, every time um, I had a disaster or adversity, you know, I blossomed. Because when disaster strikes or when adversity strikes, people get depressed and think, okay, I'm done, these things come to me. But that's the time you put your best foot forward, right? So and they also need to learn these 8 worldly conditions. If you don't learn these, then they can easily get, depressed and sad and unhappy. And so they need to know that you can't avoid praise or blame, joy or sorrow, victory or defeat, gain or loss. It's going to get to you. No matter, even if you are the most powerful person in the world, you're going to get praise or blame. You're going to you will have, joy or sorrow. You will have victory or defeat. You'll have gain or loss. So if you know this ahead, right? So then you can manage your expectations. But but if you don't know these things ahead, then you can get shaken. You can get disturbed. So if you want to be equanimous and remain undisturbed, then you have to be able to understand these worldly conditions, which is a phenomenon. So that's how it is. So I mean, anyone, whether it's the youth or even the elderly, whatever we do, we have to do it with some systems, some standard, quality, with discipline, not compromise your ethics and integrity. You have to be highly principled. All this you have to be able to package this together. Then when you do this, you become a qualitative person. No shortcuts. You don't compromise with anything. You deliver the best outcome, and you wait for the good results. And then, attention to detail is the key. Whatever we do, we have to give attention to detail. Then only, it's not micromanaging, but making sure that, because word of mouth is very powerful. I'll tell you, the Foundation of Goodness has got more donations and donors alike from worldwide because word of mouth. We can be on social media, we can do newsletters, we can, create websites, we can do all these things, but it's the word of mouth. Someone who donates to us will go and say, hey, work with the Foundation of Goodness. because they give you a feedback. They are on the ball. They don't delay to respond. So many things. So word of mouth is the best tool of marketing. So, and I think this is what people have to learn, that challenges can bring the best in you and raise the bar. Every time that I have been challenged, I raise my bar. So I said, when I had adversity, whether it's let's say tsunami, or whether it's COVID, or whether it's economic strife, or our internal conflict, every time, I said, I'm going to put my best foot forward. This is going to go away in at some point in time. So we'll create that path to succeed and flourish greatly. And last year, when people told me that due to the economic strife and COVID, impacting, you will never be able to do the kind of charity that you're doing. We did the best in terms of charity last year. And I can see the trend still continuing. So it's about believing in yourself, doing it right. If you do it right with, with your organizational skills, as I said about the standards and, doing it really well to the core, I think you leave the rest of the universe and you keep going. That's what it is. So it's about constantly believing in yourself and to be better than I used to be. That's the formula and the secret, Hasina. So yeah, I've taken a lot of your time, so thanks
But
very
I'm
much.
absolutely loving it. It's great talking to you. You are a man of great heart and wisdom. I wish maximum people to listen to, learn, and understand what you are doing, and make efforts to be good human beings involved with noble causes. We all hear on a daily basis, we should be good human beings. We should do good to others. We should help others. We all try to be happy on a daily basis. Doing good to others is such a simple way to be happy and to evolve into a good human being. It's easy. All of us must try doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm saying it's about making things happen. It's not
Right.
about watching things happen or wonder what happened. You
Right.
know, it's about doing it. It's learning in the classroom is one thing, doing research and theory is another, but translating that into action. We get mesmerized by people who speak beautifully, but there are plenty talkers, seldom doers. So we need people to do things, make things happen good for the people who are downtrodden, whom we have to lift up. How many are in India and in Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan, wherever? There are so many lacking these opportunities, but when you give it to them, they excel in life.
Right. Yeah. Kushil, thank you very much for this interview.
Thanks very much indeed as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Yeah. Talking to a man of wisdom always helps, enhancing my learning. And you have thrown light on several perspectives of life, which are so important for everyone. However, most of us so ignorantly and conveniently miss the deeper meaning of life, which may so simply, ease our journey. But we have ourselves made life and everything within it
Yeah.
complex for nothing.
Yeah.
So I can understand so much more myself after after this conversation with you. It was
Yeah.
a great experience talking to you
I mean, we,
personally. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, thanks very much for those lovely sentiments. We live to learn, every day. I'm learning myself every day, something or the other, So good to be humble and, keep going as we can. And
Right.
I can always say that, whatever we do, as I said, dies alone with us. But, and no beauty shines brighter than that of a good heart, and
Right.
applies so much as kindness. And doing a favor for someone who cannot repay that
Yeah.
is true hallmark of a character. So,
Right.
and
Mm.
also you have created something called the World Growth Forum, and that itself for me, it gives that impression that I need to grow. So
Oh,
you have given us a forum to keep growing towards the better to impact others' lives.
Wow, absolutely. Yeah,
Thanks
great.
very much. Yeah.
Yeah, personally, I and the entire team of World Growth Forums wish you the best in life. And I'm sure your way of life, your various initiatives and endeavors, and your passion to transform the world for better, for good, would always go a long way in inspiring a large part of the world. Thank you very much for talking to World Growth Forums.
Thanks
Good day
very
to you. Good day to
much.
you.
Yeah,
Bye bye.
likewise.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.